I spoke with Tara O'Neill Hayes. She's with the center-right group called American Action Forum, and she made the conservative argument for keeping CSRs in place. Tara, we've heard the president and many Republicans say time and again that these CSRs are illegal. What's the argument for that?
In my agreeing with him, I'm not just agreeing with the president, I'm agreeing with the findings of multiple federal judges who found after the House of Representatives sued the last administration that these payments are illegally being made because Congress never appropriated money for them.
So it's coming out of HHS through maybe a regulation or rulemaking device rather than through legislation?
Right, so they're taking money from, say, the General Treasury or HHS, but money can only be spent by the federal government if it has been authorized and appropriated specifically by Congress, and money was never appropriated specifically for this purpose.
While it may be illegal to many people, it also might be fiscally smart to keep CSRs in place because you guys have crunched the numbers and it shows that the premiums that would go up otherwise could outweigh this. Explain that to me because it's tough.
Sure, yeah, and CBO put out a report, the Congressional Budget Office, a few weeks ago that found that allowing the CSRs to go away because of the costs that incurred, insurers have to then increase their premium rates. And in doing so, because the subsidy is tied to the cost of the premium, and you have 85% of people buying insurance through the exchange eligible for a premium subsidy, that cost then goes up for everyone, and then the cost to the federal government in those subsidies, the premium subsidies, goes up as well. And so it's actually more expensive to not fund the CSRs from a federal government perspective.
I see. So 50-something% qualify for CSRs, 80-something% get subsidies for their premiums. If premiums raise, more people get more money, and then in the end, it's going to cost the government more money than the $7 billion or so for CSRs.
Right.
Okay, so what do we do?
I think you need to fund the CSRs, and not just from a fiscal standpoint, but also, and maybe this is something that would resonate with President Trump and his supporters, he is a businessman, and a lot of people elected him because he's a businessman, and one of the #1 rules in business is you honor the terms of your contract. And the federal government entered a contract with private insurers, and the insurers are obligated to uphold their end of the agreement. They have to make those payments on behalf of the patients, regardless of whether or not they receive that money from the federal government. And so for the federal government to say, we're not going to make the payment, that's a breach of contract, and it's really inappropriate. It's not an insurer bailout. Again, the insurer is responsible to continue making those payments regardless of whether they get the money or not. And so it's the insurers who are going to lose money. They might lose a substantial amount of money in the fourth quarter, but the enrollee should actually not be impacted, at least in this plan year.